Ronney Jenkins, bro. Pleasure to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too, brother.
Thank you for making time for the podcast.
No problem.
So, like I was telling you before the podcast, we had Lorenzo Booker in here. It was last year sometime. Crazy dude, like that. That was the first time that I ever met him, and that convo was amazing, dude. Mm-hmm. And he was bringing you up a lot in the podcast, and I'm just putting everything together. I'm like, man, I remember your name buzzing when I was in Hueneme, dude.
Yeah.
You were doing it out there. So, yeah, let's dive into it. Where were you born and raised at?
Well, I was born in Los Angeles. My family, the majority of my family is born and raised in L.A.
Okay.
I was born there and came out here at a young age. So I was raised in Oxnard, South Oxnard. So I grew up what's called Cuesta del Mar now, the street in South Oxnard, but it was called Alaric Street before that.
Okay.
They changed the name. It had a bad reputation over there, so I think they changed the name. But yeah, I grew up in South Oxnard. Obviously, went to Hueneme High School. Went to Eel Green Junior High School. And was at Parkview Elementary, which is in Hueneme.
That's the same 3 that I went to.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, so I grew up in Oxnard. All my vivid memories of growing up, all the fun times and trials and tribulations that you go through, it always comes back to Oxnard. So
it has a special place in your heart.
Yeah, I mean, because when you grow up, those moments, those younger moments, those are the moments that you remember. And even though I grew up, I didn't have much, but you don't really know that you don't have much in the moment. You don't really know that until you grow up and you're out and you see what the difference of having and not having. I grew up with my mother, and at some point she had a drug problem. I didn't grow up with my father, and then my grandmother basically took over at some point and raised me. So, but even that, my grandmother was on a fixed income. But again, in the moment, I always ate, had food on the table. I might have didn't have all the other stuff that some kids may have had or not, but I never went without eating or getting what I wanted.
Yeah.
So you always have those memories. Those are the less stressful times of your life. You know what I'm saying? Things get stressful when you become an adult and you have responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? So you see the difference between when you're a kid and a teenager opposed to being an adult and getting all these responsibilities and stuff. It's a different ball game.
For sure, man. That's what I try to relay to my son. He's 15 right now. And all those kids in school, man, you think that we grew up fast? Bro, they're growing up crazy fast.
Yeah.
I try to tell them, I say, bro, you only have about 3 years until life's starting to get real for you, dude. Enjoy this. Do not try to live fast, because once you get there, it's a trap, dude.
Absolutely.
Like, damn, I got a lot of stuff I got to worry about now.
Yeah.
So at what age was it that you realized that your lifestyle was a lot different than the outside? Because I'm guessing that maybe everybody that you associated with kind of lived the same lifestyle that you did.
Well, I knew I was different in elementary school, because usually when you're the most athletic or the fastest kid around your school or whatever, you become the most popular kid. You're standing out. When you're playing kickball and you're the best kickball player, then you're gonna stand out. If you're running races and you're always winning, you're gonna kind of stand out. So I kind of knew I was a little different at that age. But going into when I was 6th grade, going into 7th, 8th grade, my mind was a little different. I was, my crew, we were, trying to get in the streets. That was our, we come from a culture of Southern California for sure is a gang culture, and it seems to be a fashionable thing, so we, kids tend to think they want to go that route.
Yeah.
And I was one of those kids. And some of my day one friends got heavy in it. I didn't. Only because I found my love fairly quickly, and I was attached to playing football, so it stopped me from kind of going that route 100%. But my friends, for sure, the friends that I developed from 6th grade and up, they just went that direction.
Already at 6th grade?
Yeah, we were some some wild kids, man. Like when I think about the things I was doing in elementary school, it's just I grew up kind of fast.
Yeah.
I was just doing some wild stuff. Nothing like, I wasn't breaking the law, but I'm just saying, just my mentality was like, when I look at my 8-year-old right now, he's so different than I was at 8.
Yeah.
I was jumping off walls and doing backflips and front flips off of things, and I lost my kidney when I was 6.
Oh my gosh.
In a bike accident, jumping off a ramp and stuff. He don't do none of that type of stuff. And I did that at 6, and I damaged my kidney.
Shit. So what happened there?
So I was on a bike and doing all kind of popping wheelies and just jumping off stuff, and I crashed into a wall, and the handlebars or something damaged my kidney pretty bad, so they had to remove it. But my point to that is, I was just so much more active at a young age and getting involved in things like that at a young age, even fighting and stuff. Like, I don't know why I was even like that, but we was just wild kids, man. And at some point it slowed down, but yeah, just growing up at a young age, I was just a little more advanced than for my kids, for sure, how I see them. And it's maybe because I just try to keep them away from even getting involved in anything, like that. But I homeschool my 8-year-old, and I just try to keep them away from those, because school is tough.
Yeah.
A lot of influencers, like you were saying earlier, these kids grow up fast. It's the internet out there, social media and all that type of stuff. So it's a lot different than it was for me growing up, for sure. We didn't have that. It was physical stuff. You have to see stuff, sitting outside, seeing stuff, and you might want to get involved in something that you see. But now you just can get online and just see all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just the way kids are talking now is crazy. But so I just keep and I got a 1-year-old, so he gonna be homeschooled too.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
So I just you learn from your experiences, and you just try to do things different.
So when you were growing up, you say that your grandma was mostly raising you.
Mm-hmm.
Was she pretty strict on you, or you were able to just do what you wanted to do?
She tried to be, but like I said, I wasn't doing no crazy stuff like breaking the law, but I still was a young man that if I wanted to sneak out the house, I was gonna sneak out the house.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we respected her so much that we listened to, if she didn't want us to do something, for the most time, we're just not gonna do it. But still, being a kid and a human and being curious and liking girls, and you're into those types of things,
Yeah.
you're gonna find a way to do what she don't want you to do.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, we listen. For that other half, we didn't listen.
Now, when you were saying about like the streets and drug culture and stuff like that being fashionable, I could totally agree with you there, man. Was it something that you would actually see in person, or was it more of like, music and things like that?
Nah, not music. I saw it in person.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, growing up, like I said, my friends were different. You know what I'm saying? They was wild, just like I was. The only difference between me and some of the kids that I grew up with is that I found something real early to attach myself to that took my mind away from jumping into that.
Got you.
100%, right? These same kids played sports just like I did. They just didn't find it as fast as I did. You know what I'm saying? So they just strayed the other way.
Yeah.
But as far as seeing it, I saw it. I mean, it was right on my doorstep. You know what I'm saying? Drugs I seen. My mother was on drugs. I had my aunts, uncles. They all struggled at some time with drugs. So I saw it firsthand. And the gangbanging stuff, I saw that. My friends were doing that. People that I looked up to at that time in my life were those types of people.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? So when you look up to people like that who have a reputation and they seem to be the guys, that's what makes you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Not that I want to go out there and just hurt somebody. It's just I more looked at it like when I'm looking outside and I'm looking at a group of kids, male and female, all together. They seem like a unit. They seem like that's what I liked about it. I liked the unity of it. That's what attracted me to it. Just seeing that, and I wanted to be a part of something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what the initial attraction was. That some of the stuff that come with it, I was cool with that because I was already that type of kid.
Yeah.
But the other stuff, that's not normal stuff. I mean, you want to get into some of the stuff that gangsters do. That's not a normal thing
For
that
sure.
people do. But I was just on the surface of just being a part of something. That's what I initially saw at that age. I was about maybe 6 when I started seeing that type of stuff.
Oh my God,
5,
that's
6.
early.
So yeah, it's just and that's no different from most of the people that grew up in those areas. Like when you grow up in an area like that, it's really easy to be influenced, especially at a young age.
Yeah, for sure. So at what age did you start to find your passion for football?
When I really found it, I would say I think I would say 8th, 9th grade.
Yeah.
For sure 9th grade. That's when I really felt it.
So that's freshman year of Hueneme High.
Yes.
So before that, did you play for any teams or anything like that?
Yeah. I played, I think, 2 years of Pop Warner.
Okay.
So I started late. Some kids now, they start at 6. But because I lost my kidney, my mother kept me away from that type of contact sport. So my first sport was actually baseball.
Oh, okay.
So I played baseball for a while, and then at some point she let me play football. So I only played like 2 years of Pop Warner football, and then went into high school.
So at this time when you first start to play football, and then you lost your kidney, did you notice anything different in your performance or your way of living life without the kidney?
No, well, with performance wise, I was so young, I didn't have anything to relate it to.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
But that experience was a trauma. It was trauma. You know what I'm saying? I was a kid. I was a child basically, and I was in the hospital for a long time. And I remember it like it was yesterday. And as a 45-year-old man today, I can see why I don't like certain things like hospitals and needles and stuff like that. Is because of that experience that I had at that age. So the way I look at it, like I was in the hospital for so long, they had to teach me how to walk.
Oh my God.
I was in bed, so I had to get taught how to walk, and it changed my life at that age. You know what I'm saying? So that was a big part of my life, that incident. And but again, I didn't have nothing to relate it to because I wasn't playing any type of sport like that at that age.
Gotcha.
But what I do know is recovering from that. The universe is a beautiful place, and it for me to come out of that situation and become what I became, and being a fast runner, being known for having speed when I was being taught how to walk again when I was 6. I look at that a certain way. It's inspiring for me. That tells me that no matter what type of stuff you go through, that you can get through it, especially when your intentions are pure.
For sure. Yeah. I like what you mean by the intentions are pure, man, because like I'm a real big believer in the universe, and you get back what you put out, and the way that I navigate now, bro, is just like, as long as my intentions are pure, I'm gonna do what I feel is right, and whatever happens, that's what was meant to happen.
Absolutely.
Because my intentions were pure. So there's been times in the past where I would do things without pure intentions, with intentions of, ego or greed or something like that, and then it goes wrong, and then now I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah.
That's because of this, or it's because of that.
Yeah.
But then when your intentions are pure, and when you're just trying to do the right thing that you feel at that time, and it's just like, hey, I did my best.
Yeah.
That's all I could do. And it makes it a little easier to deal with that situation, whatever it is in hand.
Absolutely.
So get to 9th grade, start playing football. When do you start to notice that you're better, or you're more advanced than the people that you're playing with?
Well, I would say I'll just leave it at 8th grade. That's when I kind of knew I was a little more different than I thought I was, because at that point I'm running around, and I'm running around in the park with older guys, playing football, just out in the park playing football, and the things that I was doing at that age against like junior college guys.
Oh, wow.
And I was just out there doing just natural gifted things that I was blessed with, not even thinking.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew right there. But when I became a freshman, when they figured it out at some point, they moved me up from the freshman team to the varsity team. So I played both freshman and varsity. And the couple games when I first got moved up to varsity, I didn't play. The next week came, I didn't play. The third week, I believe, because they moved me and my best friend Rashad Cousins up, and they moved George Jones, who was a friend of mine, and they moved him up first. He became the starting quarterback for the varsity team as a freshman.
Wow.
Very talented man. But then they moved me and my boy Rashad up. So that third week came, man, we were like, man, I ain't dressing out. These motherfuckers ain't playing us. But that same day, the coach saw me in the locker room and said, hey, make sure you suit up. You're going to play tonight. And I was like, damn. All right, well. So I suited up, and I can't remember who was the receiver that got hurt, but he got hurt, and then they threw me in. And I did a go route, which is a 9 route, just try to outrun the corner, and they threw it up to me, and I caught it and scored my first touchdown as a varsity, as a freshman.
Wow.
And that game I did, pretty good. I think I had like 4 catches and a touchdown.
So the first game that you ever played as varsity. A freshman on varsity, already a touchdown.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
So the game, what was it, in November 95, was it a 617 yard?
19.
619 yards in one game.
Yeah.
How old were you at this time? Or what grade were you in? Excuse me.
Senior.
Senior. Okay.
Yeah.
What was that day like, dude? Because I was just telling my guy downstairs, just breaking it down to him, like, bro, that's pretty insane. Was it 7 touchdowns?
Yeah. It was 7 touchdowns. 2 got called back due to penalties, and a few runs got called back. So it could have been worse than that. It could have been at least 9 touchdowns, and it could have been at least close to 700 yards.
Oh my
probably.
God.
Because there are long runs that they called back. But that night was crazy. It was the last game of the season, and I didn't go in there trying to do that or expecting anything. I approached every game the same, just do the best I can, ball out, and keep it moving. So, but as I got older and looked back at that situation, I see what it was. I see what all the hard work and not winning was preparing me for that moment of leaving this chapter and going into my new chapter, which is college football. Because I was at Hueneme High School. We didn't get no recognition like that. We weren't winning. So we weren't like the other schools who were winning and getting the recognition. But my work didn't stop. My work ethic never stopped. I never stopped working to get to where I want to go to. And I believe that it's because of that I left that print on high school football. I left that print on the city of Oxnard and Ventura County, that this is who I am. Going into my next chapter, I left something behind, and that was a national record, something that's never been done before in the history of football. So a lot of stuff came with that. Hueneme High School got a lot of attention from that. A lot of colleges started coming through that campus that never been there before. A lot of things happened. Sports Illustrated, ESPN, a lot of stuff happened because of that. And it wasn't just about me. It was really about where I came from. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I looked at it. It's just really where I came from.
For sure, because I graduated in 03, and still your name was still buzzing in the halls, man.
Yeah.
That record lasted for almost 10 years.
Yeah, lasted for a while, yeah.
So when you went into this game, was that kind of your goal, is I'm going to do the best that I can and just close this chapter out the best?
Well, yeah, like I said, I approached every game the same. But this was obviously my last game of the season, and at that point I already knew I was going to college and all that stuff. So it was no extra amount of energy or anything. I just, went in the game to ball out. I mean, that's any team we ever played. I went into that game looking to do that. It just so happens to turn out to be crazy and break a national record.
Where did you get your work ethic from? And your discipline?
The discipline, over time I became more disciplined. It didn't always be like that. My uncle Duke played a big role in my life as far as just being a father figure, and also teaching me how to work. Me wanting to work and working hard, I think, was just in me. I can't really give no one that credit. He never had to tell me to work hard. He showed me what to do, and I did it with the full, just 100%. Everything I did was fast. Every drill, every workout was always a max workout for me, and I think that at some point he told me to practice like you want to play. Like, do everything you're going to do right here that you want to do in the game. So what that told me is that I want to score touchdowns. I want to score long touchdowns. I want to run for 70 or 80-yard touchdowns. So when I would get the ball in practice, I'm running to the end zone, full speed, doing moves like everything I'm doing, I'm envisioning I'm inside a football game, and that's how I practice. That's how I prepared for the game. Is as I in practice, I'm in the game, so I'm doing everything full speed. I'm not taking no breaks off no plays. I'm when I catch the ball or when I run the ball, I'm doing everything as if I'm in a real game, and that's just how it was.
Now that discipline that you had for football, did that bleed over into your normal life, into everything else that you would do, or was it just dedicated towards football?
It was dedicated towards football at first. I mean, it eventually trickled down to my everyday life. Again, like I said earlier, what I was attracted to at an early age, even though I was never jumped into a gang,
Mm-hmm.
but my mind was like theirs, right? And you don't have to be from a gang to be a prideful, have an ego and kind of have a temper or whatever. You don't have to be from a gang to possess those things, those traits. So I was that guy. I was a quiet guy, but I was not a punk.
Mm-hmm.
So those moments would come up, in my everyday life to where, if somebody's messing with me or calling me out, I forget about things and just react in that immature manner. So it took a little bit for me to know how to move correctly.
Yeah.
Me being who I was and being in the position that I was in, because it's bigger than just me, and it's you got a skill, you got a talent, and you have opportunity to use these talents to go up, and you just have to learn how to move. And that's what I had to do. I had to learn how to move correctly and be around the right people and just avoid certain situations that could go left at any given time. You know what I'm saying? So the discipline is there now, obviously, and it should be at my age. But it got there, I would say, in my mid-30s. 100%. No, not looking for no stuff. I'm not looking for anything. I'm just 100% energy. Just positive.
Yeah.
Going to looking at people with no bad intentions, not trying to start no trouble, no arguments, or none of that stuff. I'm just quiet and just being my natural self.
So what do you do nowadays if somebody tries to bring you into that mindset? Like say like road rage or something. Somebody looks at you, something like that.
Talk. Just that's all it takes is a conversation.
For sure.
Because you never know what's going on with anyone else. For someone to be that mad over cutting them off in traffic or getting in front of them or whatever the case, you don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
Because they're going through something.
Right?
So they have to be going through something. If that fucked up your day and you want to fight someone or shoot someone,
yeah,
something's not right.
Yeah.
So I can talk to anyone. Talking is, you're not a punk because you can talk and see what the problem is and maybe let this person know that what just happened ain't even a big deal. You know what I'm saying? It really isn't a big deal. There's no really that big of anything that goes on in your day is not really that big of a deal to ruin your life over.
Dude, for sure. Just recently, I have a buddy who plays like adult soccer. He's playing adult soccer at for some league, and they're playing at Oxnard High School. And I guess on the other side, the next field over, some guys get in a fight, and one guy ends up beating the other one unconscious, and the guy ends up dying, dude. This just happened like last week, and one's mid-20s, the other one's like mid-40s. Just thinking about that whole situation, like, yo, both of you guys just woke up just to go play this game on a Saturday or something like that. one of you is dead and the other one possibly could be going to jail for a long time, like, that shit ain't worth it, dude.
It's not.
Like, how much... I get it, dude, because I have, like, an ego, pride. I don't know how much of it that I really attribute to how I was brought up, where I was brought up. You know, that culture. You know, I was born in Oxnard as well, same area too, and it's like people have that built up inside of them, and whenever anybody wants to tell them that there's something that they're not, they're ready to just risk it all.
Yeah.
And that's like a conflict that I have internally all the time. I'm just like, bro, if you think that I'm a bitch or whatever, like, I don't even know you. Yeah. You don't even know me. You're just saying words right now just to make me get on the same level that you are.
Yeah.
So you can justify doing something to me that you really want to take this anger out on somebody else.
Yeah. Whether
it's your girl, your boss, some situation that happened. Like, and then if you look at it like that, it's like, it's sad, bro. Like, I feel bad for these people to think like, yo, why did you have to even get physical in the first place?
Yeah.
And then you have to take it to a level where you killed a guy, dude.
Yeah.
Like, oh man. I told my wife, like, after some shit like that, dude, I never want to fight ever again in my life, dude.
Well, you don't have to fight.
Yeah.
And this guy's life changed overnight. Over what? Some words on a soccer field?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, for me, I would never put myself in that situation. What? For what?
Yeah.
You just ruin everything over what someone said.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's just, and it seems so minimal that we don't sometimes look at it like, we don't feel it, that how stupid that sounds. But it really just sounds dumb to ruin your life over what someone said. For me, playing football and just being in that spotlight, it comes in different shades. You get the good, you get the bad. And you have to get immune to this shit, whether it's good or bad stuff. I hear a lot of stuff that I don't like about me. I hear a lot of shit that I don't like that's not even true. I do. And sometimes I get to that point where I want to go back to that prideful kid and be like, what's up?
Yeah.
But I'm in a way bigger position. That's just not even something that I want to deal with.
Yeah.
So what I need to do and what I do is I just stay away from stuff like that. I don't need to be in anything like that, because why? I mean, I want to see my kids grow up and be happy. I'm doing all kind of different moves in my community to build something that's gonna last, a legacy. That's what I talk to Lorenzo about all the time, is the legacy. What we're doing right here is we're leaving something behind. We're doing things that ain't never been done before. And we got into the cannabis game with no experience. You know, this is a hard business to get into.
Yeah.
To get a license is a hard thing to do, especially for a minority. So when I look at my journey, and that's basically what this is. When I look at my journey and where I came from losing a kidney to the woman that I fell in love with first, which is my mother, get strung out on drugs, not having a dad, seeing my stepdad hit my mom, being a part of certain things, whether it's street shit or wanting to be a part of that, football and becoming a star, and making a lot of money, losing a lot of money, making a lot of money, losing a lot of money. I've been through all kind of different things, emotional things. And where are we at right now? So I cherish these things, and I look at life way different. So why am I going to throw everything away off a moment that doesn't mean anything? You can say whatever you want about me. What does it really matter? You have people on social media every day, and that's all they do is talk about people.
Yeah.
They make a living out of talking about people. if we didn't care about it and just ignored it, that shit will go away.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
will go away. But we don't. And people love it. People get on social media every day. You can't go throughout your day without getting on Instagram. Most people.
Yeah.
Or TikTok or some crazy shit. So this stuff is crazy, and it's on purpose. I think the powers that be knows how to distract us and get us off what we need to be on and get us on some shit that we don't need to be on.
What do you feel like they're distracting us from?
The truth. Who
With
we are.
The aliens?
Who we are.
You mean why we're here?
Why we're here. We haven't touched the surface on who we are as a race, the human race.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about a color. I'm talking about being a human being, the power you possess within you. Everything is designed to take you away from who you are. They want you to worship something that's not you. They want you to think that every time something you do that is perceived as being good, you thank someone else for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't thank yourself. You thank something else. So that gradually makes you think like it's always something else that's making you do right or work hard, or you get out of bed and you come to work, you put the time, the energy into your stuff. Even being here, this is your stuff. And I'm just using you as an example, but people thank God for everything that they do.
Yeah.
When you need to thank yourself, because you are God. You're a part of that entity.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say you come from God and not be God. If whatever you worship, whatever you believe in, if it says you come from this, then that means you are that too.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
That's part of you.
So, my point, I don't want to get too deep. I don't know how deep you are into
Go
this,
wherever you want, bro.
but
just throw it at me. I'll catch it.
I'm just, I just know that we are, everything is set up from government to religion to the health department. Everything is set up to take us away from the truth. Because if you know the truth, then you know that you don't need them.
Mm-hmm.
The system is set up for you to believe that you need them. Money was created for you to need them. What do we need money for? The paper.
Exchanging
that
of
paper.
goods.
That paper.
Yeah.
If you build houses and I make cars, why don't I make you whatever car you want, I'll make it for you, and whatever house I want, you build it for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that a good trade?
Yeah, I mean, if it all makes sense.
If your boy downstairs is a farmer and grows fruits and vegetables, if you make him a house and he supplies you with your fruits and vegetables, is that a good trade?
Yeah, for sure.
Because you're going to have to buy the food anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I give him a car, he gives me my food. You build me a house, I give you a car.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm trying to say?
No, like, for sure.
We don't need money.
Yeah,
because if you can build me what I want, that eliminates me being jealous of what you got. I got a big house, you got a big house, or whatever house I want.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy with it though. When you go to South Oxnard, you got people that will envy North Oxnard because they seem to have more.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of you. Now I'm gonna rob you. You have a Mercedes, I'm walking. I'm gonna break into your car because I think you have something that I don't have that I desire. So if I give you everything that you desire and you give me everything I desire, we're all at the even playing field. I no longer want what you have.
Yeah.
You don't want what I have. If we're all in first class, then who cares who's in first class? We're all in first class.
Yeah.
Right?
So when you were coming up, did you have that mentality of that others were more fortunate because of where they were at, and you could never reach that level because you weren't born into that fortune?
Unfortunately, I didn't have that mindset, and it's not unfortunate, but that's what I said. But I'm not. I didn't never have. I never was jealous.
Mm.
I was inspired. You know what I'm saying? So if I see, if I'm when I'm learning football all I'm looking at is NFL, and I'm saying that's where I want to go because that's where I said I wanted to go. I was probably 15 when I said that. So of course at 15, I'm not thinking about just football. I'm thinking about what I see that it comes with, and that's the fame and the money and all that stuff. So I'm inspired by seeing people with those things that I want. Never hate, never mad at them. I was always inspired. So when I see, like, growing up, the Curtis Richardson, Lorenzo's cousin, he was inspirational to me. He went to school, went to college, and then when we clicked up, he was already out of college, and he didn't have a bunch of stuff. It's just he had more than me. But I looked at him and I looked up to him, and that's what I wanted to have. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So he just seemed to have his stuff together, and that's what I wanted. So he inspired me. You know what I'm saying? I was never mad that he had his stuff together. I never was mad that he seemed to have it all. I was inspired by that. And anyone else that I would see, I never thought about robbing nobody because they had some. I just never thought that way. You know what I'm saying? I just was working hard to get to where I wanted to go. And unfortunately, I knew where I wanted to go at an early age. And so all that jealousy shit just didn't exist with me.
Yeah. Do you feel like that is one of the biggest problems, though, when people see others, that they don't look at it as motivation, they look at it as from a jealous point of view, and they actually do themselves a disservice from tricking themselves that they could never even get to that situation?
Absolutely. I think there's more people who are hurting than not. You got people that, like I said, they live on social media, they see all these things, and people have purses and watches and cars and houses. They look at that and people hate. Mm-hmm. And it's sad because none of that shit means nothing. The houses, the cars, that shit don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
It means nothing. 100%. This shit doesn't mean nothing. You ain't happy because you have it. That's not happiness. You know what I'm saying? The same people that got billions of dollars are the same people who can lose it and kill themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Who kills themselves over money?
Yeah, right.
So you can't be happy. You can't be complete if you killing yourself over money. Like, if you have $100 million and you lose 50, you want to kill yourself? You got wealthy people that kill themselves over money. So how happy can you really be?
Yeah.
Where are you really at in your life? If I take this from you, you feel like you're nothing. If you're really from nothing, you can go back there because you know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Some of these people, they don't know how to deal with anything because they've never been there before. You know what I'm saying? I've been to these places before. So when I said earlier that I've made money and lost money, made money, it didn't kill me. I just know how to go get it.
Yeah.
I lose it, I just know how to go get it back. You know what I'm saying? Some people just, the jealousy and the envy is just because they don't want to get up and go get it. Just be inspired by it and find your way. And finding your way doesn't mean you have to do exactly what Ronney Jenkins did. You don't got to play football. My kids don't even play sports.
Yeah.
And I don't need them to play sports. I don't care if they play sports. I care if they learn how to read, comprehend, count, mathematics, because that's what matters when you go out into the real world. You have to learn how to read. You have to know what you're reading. You have to understand things. You have to know how to count. You have to manage money. That's what matters.
Yeah.
You can play football and then not know how to do any of that, and then when football's over, then what?
So, as a freshman, as a 15-year-old, you had it in your mind already that you wanted to go to the NFL.
Yes.
the next step of that would be college.
Mm-hmm.
So you went to BYU.
Mm-hmm.
Was that? Did you get a scholarship for
Yes.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, man. So what was that experience like?
Well, before I got to BYU, you know, I heard all the people who cared about me just giving me advice. You know, it's gonna be college, and everyone's gonna be bigger than you. Everyone's gonna be faster than you. Everyone's gonna be better. And you know, that wasn't the case. But people were bigger than me. I wasn't a big guy, but they weren't faster than me, and they weren't better than me. But I know why they were saying it. They were keeping me on my toes to continue to work hard and try to be great. So when I went there, it was a culture shock, for sure. You know, I left high school being around the predominant minorities, Hispanics, blacks. There was a trickle of Caucasian people in Hueneme at that time.
Yeah.
To go into a school where it's predominantly white, and religion, Mormon. It's a Mormon school. So it was a shock from that perspective, and then at that time I'm looking at football my mindset then was you have to have some blacks to win. You can't win with a predominantly white team. There's no way. I think silly like that at that time. But once we started, then my mind changed real quick, because it wasn't even about whether we had a lot of black guys or not. It's a structure. It was structure there, and something I never had in high school. So BYU was 100% a real program, a real reputable program, and it came with structure, and it taught me a bunch of different things. You know what I'm saying? So when I got there, I got over the initial culture shock. I got over that and just blended in, you know what I'm saying, and just continued to do my work and work hard and end up being successful.
And that led you to the Chargers.
Yes.
So what was that like, finally achieving your goal that you set at 15?
Well, a part of my goals was to get drafted. And because of poor decision making decisions that I made in college and just being immature stopped me from being drafted. You see, so these lessons that, this journey, like I spoke earlier about, this is a part of that eye-opening moments that I had in my life, because it hurt me. You know what I'm saying? I cried like a baby when I didn't get drafted, because I did everything that I was supposed to do to get drafted. I was ranked 2 or 3 in the country at my position. I was sought after. I was projected to go from the 1st to the 3rd round. So I did everything physically that I was supposed to do. Mentally, I didn't. And I didn't know that in the moment. But when I thought about it as I got older, and I knew exactly what happened and why it happened and why I didn't get drafted. And that's why it doesn't bother me to this day to even talk about it, because the universe works. It works in mysterious ways. You might not get it in the moment, but what was going on with me, preparing myself for the combine, the NFL combine, of course I was working hard, but I started doing other things that I wasn't accustomed to doing. I didn't party growing up, right? I'm now in LA, party, doing this, staying up all night, still working hard, but I'm doing things that I don't typically do. And my mind is different. I'm getting money from agents, got a new car, I'm living that life.
What was the car, bro? I got another car.
My first car was a Lexus. That's what I was in love with. My favorite rapper at the time was Corrupt from the Dog Pound. And one of his verses, he said, I'm rolling a Lexus fucking Benz. And I fucking took that shit to heart. So I said, fuck a Benz, I'm gonna get a Lexus.
Yeah.
And that's what I got.
Oh,
my
yeah.
first car was a Lexus.
All right.
My agent that I chose took me into Jim Falk Lexus of Beverly Hills, and I drove out of there with a black on black GS 300.
Damn.
That
was like the bubble one, right?
The bubble. It was
Those
a new
are
one.
sick, bro.
Yeah, that was the new one. It was a bubble, yep. But back to what I was saying, I was just doing all kind of shit different, and I had to be put in my place, and the universe put me in my place, because when I signed with the Chargers, I walked in that facility with the same mindset that I had when I came to college, hungry, the same mindset I had gotten to when I was a senior in high school, when I was playing like a man amongst boys. When I was a senior in high school, I was in my zone. I was in that place where I know what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
So it was easy, right? Just like when as I got older in college, it was not the same as it was when I was a freshman in college. I'm into my own now. And that's the mindset that I had when I walked into the Chargers facility. And I'm looking on these walls, and I'm looking at all these great players that they're remembering by putting their picture on this wall. You have to be something to be on this wall. And in my mind, I'm saying, I want to be on this wall. I'm not telling nobody what I'm thinking, but I went in there with so much rage that I'm saying, I got to get on this wall. They didn't draft me. I took it personal, and it hurt me because it was personal. So what they saw my rookie year was an animal. The Chargers saw an animal. And it's crazy because my coach, Mike Riley, who recruited me to go to USC, and when I was in high school, he was at USC, and he remembered me from USC camp. I was a junior in high school when I went to the USC camp, and I showed out, and I think I got MVP of that camp. But he remembered me, and that's why he brought me to San Diego. But they got a monster, and like I said, what turned out, I didn't get drafted, but I left San Diego holding most of their return records, and my picture's on that wall now. So
to this day,
my picture's on that
man.
wall.
Congrats.
So this just tells you, I remember walking into the facility. I remember that feeling, and what that goal that I set for myself internal was to be on that wall.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know I was on the wall. My buddy Kerry Colbert, who went to Hueneme, who played in the NFL, he was doing a internship, I believe, with the Chargers. He was there for some reason, and he sent me a picture.
Damn.
And that's how I knew I was on the wall. I didn't even know I was on the wall.
Wow.
I was on the wall and didn't even know it. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny because I didn't even know I was even on it. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy how things work, to not be drafted, to go in there and hold most of their records, and leaving behind something because, I went on an internship to the Chargers, and they treat me so well. The relationship that we have, and it's the respect thing. When I think about the respect I had from Junior Seau, that's crazy to me because he was the guy.
Yeah. And
he respected me. And I know that because that's what he showed me. You know what I'm saying? He respected my game. He respected my work ethic. I played with some guys. Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, Romanowski, Junior Seau, Charles Woodson. Like, I was fortunate to really play with some guys that really respected my game. You know what I'm saying? So not being drafted, it hurt me in the moment, but at the end of the day, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is in life.
Yeah, for sure. So you leave the Chargers and you go to the Raiders for a short while.
Mm-hmm.
And then what made you quit your football career?
The Raiders. I grew up a Raider fan, but going there just was a bad experience, man. And A lot of people don't know the stories, but I'm gonna tell you one. So going to the Raiders, one was an emotional decision. You know, I was upset that I left the Chargers. I didn't like it. We had a new coach come in at the Chargers, Marty Schottenheimer, rest in peace. And, you know, I was coming off a Pro Bowl year. I led the league in every category in kickoff returns. I was the best at that moment. In that time, I was the best return man. He comes in the following year, and he treats me like I'm not. You know, he's doing things that I just didn't understand. So that was my first moment of dealing with business of the NFL. It wasn't about how good I was or what I did. They have an agenda. And if they don't want to pay you, they're going to do things to justify why they're not paying you. So I just went through a lot of shit towards my end at San Diego. So me picking the Raiders was just to fucking play the Chargers and eat their ass up. That's what my mindset was, which I shouldn't have done that. I should have picked a better team to go to that was more fitted for me. I should have just took my time before I just jumped into going to the Raiders.
Yeah.
So when I got there, obviously I didn't know anyone personally, but I knew guys because I played against these guys my whole career at San Diego. So I knew a bunch of guys, but I still didn't have someone that I was, you know, hanging out with. So I'm trying to find myself on the team. And, you know, I meet a female out there that, you know, some of the guys liked. And they didn't get. So the new guy comes in and gets one of them girls that some of the guys like.
Were the girls there just around or what?
I met this girl at a club. And once certain players saw me talking to her, they approached me and said, okay, this is such and such, you know, there's a lot of brothers that's tried to get at this girl that didn't. Okay. So, you know, you're gonna catch some hate, basically. And that's what I caught, you know what I'm saying? So it was a couple guys that just didn't like it and it was hating and trying to get me to leave her alone, and it just wasn't happening, and there's a lot of tension in there, and plus we weren't doing good. That my first year at the Raiders is when the year after they came from the Super Bowl and lost, and that was that year there was their downfall. I don't even know if we won a game that year. Probably won one game.
Oh wow,
year. That was 2003. That's when they started their downfall. So, you know, tension was high. The kickoff return team wasn't doing well. I was frustrated. Then it's this off the field shit I was dealing with the girl and these guys. So I think we played the Detroit Lions, and a reporter asked me after the game, you know, what's going on with the return team? You know, they brought you here to do your thing, but things are not working out. And, you know, I made a comment that I shouldn't have made, you know what I'm saying? I just basically said the coach ain't doing his job. You know, in so many words, that's what I said. And, you know, that was on a Sunday night. So Monday, you know, we have meetings Mondays, and we start off with the special teams meetings on Mondays. But what's unique about Mondays is that on these special team meetings, the whole team is in these special team meetings. It's not just the special team players, it's the whole team. Coaches, offensive linemen, quarterback, everyone's in this meeting. So the special team coach gets up there and he starts off normal, you know. It was a surprise attack. You know, he started off normal, and you know, and he just went in on me, called me out on my comment that I made to the reporter. And he was talking shit. And I'm still the guy from South Oxnard who can talk shit too and is ready to go at any given moment. And I got in that moment.
Mm.
And when he called me out and told me to tell the team what I said, excuse my language, fuck you. You tell them what I said. You have it right in your face. Because he had it, you know, he had the printout of what I said. I said, fuck you, tell them what I said. So everybody's like, damn. All they knew of me is a quiet guy that wasn't talking.
Yeah.
But now they see this quiet guy lash out. And I'm like, and when I lashed out, I lashed out. And I basically told him to bring his fat ass outside and let's get with it.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know this story. But that's why I left the Raiders.
Oh, shit.
Because he wasn't going to coach no more if I was on the team. And, you know, they set me down and, you know, gave me my money. And I exited the building on a Tuesday. That happened on Monday. I exited the building on a Tuesday.
Wow.
And at that point, I was like, fuck football.
Yeah.
Because I was just so mad because of this. I left the San Diego situation mad because I felt I was being done wrong. Then I come to this situation and it's just not working out. So I'm like, at this point, I'm like tired of this shit. Like the Cowboys called me right away to come to Dallas and play that Sunday.
Wow.
I said no.
You're just done with it all.
I didn't say nothing. I just didn't respond.
Oh,
The
shit.
Seattle Seahawks hit me up to come. It's like 4 different teams just hit me up to come. And I was just like, nah. I was just done. But then I'm sitting back week after week and I'm losing money. So now I'm like, shit, I gotta find a team. So I ended up going to New Orleans, working out, and they loved me. And this was during the season. So they wanted me to I was working out and they wanted me, but they worked out somebody else, and the guy that they worked out, he was in there selling himself and giving a whole speech on why they should sign him. And me being a quiet guy, I'm just listening. Like in my head, I'm like, I'm better than you, so they're gonna sign me. And they didn't. But they told me, if you're here when the season is over, we're gonna sign you. If you haven't signed with a team, we're gonna sign you. We just picking this guy. The guy was a veteran. He'd been in the league for a while, and I think they just wanted a veteran running back. You know what I'm saying? So they picked him, and it was only like 4 games left at this point. But as soon as the season was over, the New Orleans Saints called me up, and I went down there and signed the contract. So, so I got there. I know you didn't ask me this question, but now that we're talking about it,
it's all good, bro. Let's paint it.
So after I signed with the Saints, I went down there, found a place to live, was getting myself acclimated to the city and the area, the heat and all that type of stuff. So that same girl that I met in Oakland, I brought her with me. The same girl that everybody was mad at me about, I brought her with me. So we're out there, and once we started mini camp, that went well. Training camp went super well, and they loved me, and they liked me, and all that. And I had another moment of a lesson learned. I was talking, not really talking back to my running back coach, but he had made a comment about a player, how fast he was, and I disagreed with him in the meeting. And I'm in there and I'm making other players laugh and shit at what I'm saying. I think the coach took offense to that.
Got you.
Well, I know he did, because after that, he treated me like shit. You know what I'm saying? He just treated me bad. So I lasted till the week before the opener, and they released me. And the coach, my head coach, basically told me that he was the only one not really pushing for me to make the team. And the only thing I can think of is that moment in the meeting room when I was kind of talking shit. But they all wanted me there. They loved me. But he just kind of made it seem like I wasn't a good fit as a running back. So, and that's all it takes, is one of the coaches to say something like that. And again, that I learned a lesson from that. You know what I'm saying? And really the biggest lesson that I learned from all this shit that had to do with the NFL is that it was just a stepping stone.
For sure.
For me to get to where I'm at. I met a lot of people. I have a lot of friends that played, a lot of Hall of Famers, and I was fortunate, but that was just a moment, you know what I'm saying? And I learned so much from all those moments, the good ones, the so-called bad ones. I learned so much from that. But that's just a page, bro. Like, where I'm at now is just, football is not even, I don't even watch football.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude. That's the life that you lived. That's a life right there.
Yeah.
For just a regular person, you know, that's something to live on forever.
Yeah.
But for you to fast forward to today, to be getting into the commercial cannabis space, that's huge, man. So let's talk about that. Advocate Society, Barred Boys, commercial cannabis. How'd you get into that field, and what was your motivation on that?
So, my boy that I went to high school with, he put me on. I'm not gonna put his name out there, but he put me on to cannabis, and he came to me first when Hueneme opened up for licensing, and he said, "This, you should do this because you have everything they want. You have the name, the reputation, etc. You would be the face. You went to Ronney High School, etc., etc." And at first I was like, "Nah, I'm good." You know, I just wasn't even thinking about, you know, that side of cannabis. But then a couple months went by, and I'm thinking like, this shit is a big business. So that's when I was like, you know what? Let me do this. But before I do it, I have to find the right people that's gonna help me do it. Because I'm not a person that thinks I know everything. No, I mean, I might have some qualities, but whatever I lack, I'm finding someone around me that is rich in this, in whatever we need. You know, Lorenzo is a really, really good communicator. Talks very well, articulates himself very well. I don't talk that much, right? So Lorenzo's on my side most of the time. Not that I need him to speak for me, but he has a way of talking that I don't. People who just know more than me with cannabis, I just get those people around me. Randy Latimer, who was a police commander for 30 years. He has a reputation in the city. He's a well-known person, a respected person. I bring him around me. You know what I'm saying? I'm bringing people around me that I know is going to help this situation, and not me just coming in there because I played football and I'm from here, give me a license. Nah, it doesn't work that way. I got to build a team of people, respectful people, to make this happen. And that's basically what happened is, you know, we built a team and hired the right people to work on our application, and went in and did the damn thing.
So you guys got the permits and everything?
Yeah, so we're going through the permit process now, but the initial getting the license, it doesn't stop there. So when you win out of the 50 applicants that applied, you know, there's a certain amount that's gonna. They're only at first they're only allowing eight dispensaries.
Gotcha.
So we finished 7 out of the 8.
So that's in Oxnard itself?
In Oxnard.
Okay, gotcha.
So we finished 7 out of 8 of those. So when that initial you won, now there's a process of actually getting open and being able to do business in the city, and that's when you go for these specific permits that you have to get. The first is the SUP, the special use permit. If you don't get that, then you're not gonna work. You're not gonna open business in Oxnard. That's the first thing you have to go in front of the commission, and they gotta vote you in. You know, you gotta, you know, they'll talk to you, ask you questions, and you gotta basically sell yourself and tell them what you want to do and your plans on how you're going to conduct business and how you're going to do for the city, and they vote you in or they vote you no. So when we went in there, everyone voted us in, and it was never that for any other business. It was maybe one that didn't.
What do you feel like your guys' upper hand was, just having people on the team that were well known and respected in the community, or the plans to give back to charities or the PAL, things like that?
I think it's a combination of both. We're not just from here. We're talking about some powerful names. It's one thing to just be from here, but it's another to just have some respect on these people's names.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? When you speak of Randy Latimer, there's respect that comes behind that. When you speak of Lorenzo Booker, there's some respect that comes behind that. Ronney Jenkins, there's some respect that comes behind that. We're already doing stuff in the community. You know what I'm saying? We're already doing that. But the upper hand, and what I think is going to separate ourselves from everyone else, is that we are from here.
Yeah.
And our plans are very unique on how we're going to attack this, and I would love to say it on here, but I'm not. But our plan is going to be very unique on how to get the community behind us and support us, because we want to get the community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what our first goal is, to get the community. You know what I'm saying? So, and we have a strategic way of going about that.
Got you. So at this point right now, do you have a date that Bard Boys is going to open up? It's on Esplanade Drive by sort of by the In-N-Out, Krispy Kreme, that area.
It's off of Vineyard. Right off the freeway.
Okay, yes, right off the Vineyard. Okay.
So it's where that Krispy Kreme is in that Wendy's. There's a Wendy's right there.
Yeah.
It's directly across the street
from Wendy's, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the same parking lot as Home Depot, is it?
It used to be Home Depot.
Okay, got you. Okay, perfect.
It's now the Mexican store. The
Vallarta. Yeah. Okay, got you.
So is it right there? But we're right on the corner, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long until that's going to open up? Do you have a date or anything like that?
So we don't have an official date, but we will be open this year.
Sick.
So by December, but hopefully before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Dude, sounds good, man. Like I was saying before when I had Lorenzo in here, he was kind of breaking down kind of the plans that you guys had going on. And then when I seen you on social media and actually see the building with the logo on it,
yeah,
starting to come to life, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you guys.
Thank you. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, of course. So I know you got to get out of here, bro. But when Bard Boys opens up, hopefully we can have you in here for another podcast.
I like what you got going on here.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it, man.
No problem.
And anybody that's trying to do anything locally here, I always want to have them on the podcast, because we do have a lot of people locally that do listen, and probably a lot of people with that same mentality, that that sort of jealous mentality, just because they've never seen anybody do it before in their face. Maybe they've seen somebody do it online or somebody that they respect, but knowing somebody that goes from Parkview to Elementary or to Eel Green to Hueneme, and then them getting a scholarship to college, and then going to play for 3 NFL teams, and then now starting a whole nother career, that's motivating, man.
Yeah.
And your story is one that I wanted to share, and I definitely want to be part of it in the future, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So
bro.
hopefully when everything opens up, go by there and enjoy some of the products.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So for everybody listening right now, if they want to be a part of what you guys got going on, where can we direct them to?
You could direct them to our Instagram, Bard Boys OX. I believe Bard Boys OX. Kind of looks like Bard Boys South Oxnard.
Yeah.
But
it does.
But yeah, you can reach us on there. We'll be at some events coming up. The Jazz Festival in September, we'll be there.
Okay.
Promoting. our wellness company and our cannabis company. But we'll be setting up shop all over the city, doing a bunch of different charity work until we open.
Okay.
So,
for sure. Well, guys, make sure you check out Ronney. I'll have the Instagram below, and dude, we'll keep an eye on it. And when the opening day comes up, man, we'll definitely be there. We'll check it out.
thank you, man. Appreciate you.
But Ronney, I appreciate you being in here, dude, and I appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
And thank you guys all for listening. Once again, this is another episode of Downtime with Downstar, and we out. Peace.